like a machine. We use the Pro Tools.
Good morning. This is Lewis Jackson, and we are starting the OGs today. The OGs is as soon as Donald quit talking, will be live and well. Today we have a dynamic guest, and of course, he's been around here once or twice before. And, of course, he's tall like me, good-looking like me, and intelligent like me. So, we talk good-looking and smart. The only problem he has is usually tall, good-looking, smart folks are Jacksons. So we got to go back and check his DNA and make sure that. But today we are brought to you by the Russian firm. That's Fred Russian, our lead attorney with the firm. You got any legal problem, just call 444-770-300 and we'll make sure that he takes care of it. He has a battery of lawyers back there. Some of them handle a criminal case, and other ones handle whatever other case that you might need. So we got, we need to go to trial. We got one for them. You need to negotiate. We got somebody to take care of that. Donald Farmer is a good friend of mine, and he runs a place called A to Z Imprints. He'll imprint anything that you got as long as it's legal. And he's a moral, but if you got no money, as long as it's legal, he'll do it.
No, it's not true.
But now, he said he does some 400,000 products, and I ain't figured that one out yet. But you can go on the webs and here to A to Z Imprints, and you can see what all he has to offer. Miss Betty's still offering homes. She found out that at the price of homes that they are inexpensive, but there are still some folks that don't have one, and at this proper time, the price of houses, everybody need to have one. Mr. Lawrence is still putting in security system. I'll watch my house. You can watch a house from wherever you want to. You can see it from wherever you want to. If you are in Russia and you got your internet with you, you can watch what go on at your home. You need to call us here at 444-770-300. We have another person that's helping us be on the radio and
TV.
On radio and TV. Don had to straighten me out. He has a variety of products that you can buy wholesale, and we specialize in detergent. If you don't have a 5-gallon of Gaines or Tide at a real good price, then you need to see us here at WAEN.TV. He also has sheets. He got those sheets with those high counts. And normally those things run about $40, but he's going to let you have 2 of them for that price. And you can actually give us his, because his name is Bob Whitley. Well, his name is Robert, but, they call him Bob. So, I call him what they call him. That's Bob. My name is Lewis Jackson. I am your co-host. And today, as we just mentioned a few minutes ago, we have a dynamic guest. One who's tall, good-looking, and smart. And I'm going to turn this over to our host because he don't want me knocking off his thunder. Donald Farmer.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. With no further delay, we will introduce our guest. Today he's here to talk about a special program that they're promoting for the month of October. But not only that, he's here to promote and to talk about an organization that's very dear to him and dear to us too, because we understand and know the significance of it all. And I guess I won't change my intro the way I've been doing it, and that is that you know more about you than I know about you. So tell the people who you are, what you're about, and why you're here today.
Well, thank you for having me, first of all. I really appreciate this opportunity to just share with the public about our organization. I am Garrick Scott, president of the National Federation of the Blind of Georgia. We are a nonprofit volunteer consumer advocacy organization designed with creating and helping blind people in the state of Georgia gain their independence and be as productive as possible. It's special to me that I'm here today for this particular month, in that this is Meet the Blind Month. So technically, if you're listening right now, you've met one blind person. How you doing? But there are plenty more in the state of Georgia. There are over 100,000 blind individuals. And I know what you're thinking. I've not seen that many blind people. Well, not all blind people use a cane or use a dog, and there are different degrees of visual acuity. So technically, you could be riding down the street and a blind person is driving.
Wait a minute, that sounds like our buddy, don't it? Don't it, Don?
He's head of that program. He's talking about Mr. former NFBGA president.
Lewis.
Yeah, his program that he's working with.
Yeah, Anil is actually the former president of this organization, so yeah, he will attempt to drive a time or two himself. But
is he over a program that's about the blind?
Well, he actually last year left our organization and moved to Baltimore. He's the director of strategic planning for our national organization in Baltimore, Maryland. That's what he does now. So he's still pretty involved. And in fact, he'll be here this weekend. He'll serve as our national representative for our state convention starting tomorrow, Friday through Sunday.
Wait a minute, now, he's up there in Baltimore, and then how he going to serve as y'all national? Shouldn't he be serving as Baltimore national president?
Well, actually, that's a good question. Normally what would happen is the president, the national president, would be the national rep. But with 50 affiliates, with 52 counting Puerto Rico and D.C., the national president just can't make it to all the state conventions. He sends representatives from the national office to speak on his behalf and give a national report and serve in his stead at the various state conventions. And this year we happen to have the pleasure of having Anil Lewis as our national rep.
Well, y'all know how to run y'all organization, but it's 52 weeks in a year, and he's in his 52 states. Like it'd be one a month, so he get around one a week, so he can get around all of them.
Well, I'm glad you said that too. And that there are some states who hold their conventions simultaneously. For instance, the state of Minnesota, their convention is this weekend also. And I don't know if you are familiar with Star Trek. Only they are able to put one person in two places at the same time. So we have to rely on mortal techniques. So we use national representatives.
Oh, so now, how many of them up there? So is Baltimore the headquarters?
Yeah, Baltimore is the national headquarters. Yeah.
So now, we know Anil, since he's a good friend of ours.
Mm-hmm.
How many other national? So he's not the president up there. He's one of the top people.
Yes, sir.
When you get down here, you tell him that we said. Mm-hmm. When I say we. Dawn ain't gonna take credit.
No, so tell him you said, okay, because I don't know what's about to come out your mouth.
That since he has spent all his time in Georgia being the president, we need new blood come up there to bring the message. Because we have heard his message. We want some new blood. Now go ahead on.
Because if there's any way we can take that part out, take it out.
What? Because
what new blood? We here. Go ahead, Garrett. Talk about what you came to talk about.
Well, actually, I wanted to specifically invite everyone that's going to be in the Macon area. Our convention will take place the 7th through the 9th at the Macon City Marriott, 240 Coliseum Drive in Macon, Georgia. We will start on Friday with a Senior Possibility Fair, where we welcome an opportunity for seniors throughout the state to come and learn about a variety of technology and services that they may otherwise have been unaware of. Actually, the senior population is the largest group of the blind, followed closely by students. And as unfortunate as people may think it is to lose your vision and that your life is over and doom and gloom, that is not the case. And when someone has lived over 50, 60 years of their lives with sight, that is the perception that they tend to have. But we like to teach them and show them that there are a variety of services from the Newsline, which will allow them to have access to the newspaper 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, over 385 newspapers, and that there are devices that can help them pour things in the cup so that they don't spill over. And there are pens called 20/20 pens with write in a bold marking so that it makes it a little easier to see. Just a variety of things such as that to allow them to know that they can still maintain a high level of independence that they were accustomed to. Readily we admit that there would be a couple of things that they won't be able to do the same way, but for the most part there's an alternative way to do all the things they were accustomed to doing. We still encourage them to watch television, to read the newspapers, like I said, to visit with their friends, to go out. Public transportation is something that is readily available to them, and once they learn to use alternative techniques such as braille and travel, using a cane, or just a variety of other technologies, they might find themselves to be even more independent and technically competent than they ever thought they could be in previous years before they lost their sight.
Well, you said that the convention down in Macon.
Yes, sir.
And this weekend, Friday, the senior folks.
Mm-hmm.
And you got more senior. Do you have more senior blind or just senior people that comes to?
Well, they're not the largest group that attends our convention, but just overall in the state, they are the largest population of the blind community. But
so it's more blind seniors than the rest of the folks?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it because, I guess, lately they got technologies that catch disease before they get there and it won't be go blind as fast?
No, that's not the case. There's still a lot of other blind people.
No, well, we understand that.
With age and as people get older, their vision decreases. So know this, that our organization does not define blindness by not being able to see anything.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like the color blue. How many variations of blue could you possibly name?
Mm-hmm.
A number of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're all still blue. There are over 2,900 different eye diseases and disorders. So that means there are at least 2,900 different visual acuities. Some people are high partial and have some vision, but you can detect when someone has poor vision. And we believe that if your vision is not 20/20 or 2100 with corrective glasses, then you're still blind. And it's not a bad thing. We want to work to dispel the negative stereotype about being blind. So we refer to everybody with any sort of visual impairment. We rarely use the word visual impairment. In fact, never. We just say everyone is blind, and it's easier that way.
Okay, so you said 2,000?
2,900.
29. No. At what point do we consider them? I don't want to say visual.
I'm saying there's 2,900 different eye diseases, but according to society or the state laws,
right,
when it comes to driving,
right,
if your vision is worse than 20/60, yeah, then you're legally blind.
Okay.
So technically, we include those individuals as being a blind individual. Mm-hmm. We just choose not to use. We could get confused in society relying on all those politically correct terms: sight impaired, sight challenged, legally blind, visually impaired. It can cause people to never know which term would be the correct one to use. So,
see, but one of the issues that I've had with what you're saying is that, and I was down at a location where I used to kind of be in the middle of where your guys' schools school was on Peachtree.
Well,
But
that school was.
that
It's
school.
not ours.
Right. Well, referring to the blind again,
Mhm.
we use a lot of, and I'm glad you did that correction because that's what I'm about to talk about. We sometimes don't know what terms not to use and what to use because I remember vividly one of the guys coming upstairs up the elevator at this building, the West Peachtree building that I was in, and I grabbed him by his elbow because he had gotten kind of confused on where he was going, which door he was going. I grabbed him by his elbow to kind of lead him out, and that was the wrong thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
However, I didn't know that. I knew it when I finished though, because he was abusive with the response because I touched him like that. But we as a society, we don't know a lot of the things that we shouldn't do, shouldn't say, and so we have to be educated. So a lot of times when we're doing things, it's not intentional. We just don't know any better. And that's why it's important for you. I'm glad that you're here today so that you can kind of help us with that. And I don't know where we find out those kind of things that we shouldn't do or shouldn't say. So help me with that in the case of not being educated in that.
It's going to be a matter of events such as these opportunities to engage the public. We really have to work with teaching each other so that, for the lack of a better term, that we're all on the same page.
Right.
And I hope this isn't speaking out of term. If we just go down the racetrack just for a quick second, the black community went through a variety of politically correct terms before everyone thought that we could settle on African American. Because there was a point where black Americans did not like to be referred to as black. That was one of the most negative terms you could ever use to describe that group, or people perceived it to be. But I always enjoy this. When James Brown decided to sing a song, "I'm Black and I'm Proud," then it became the cool thing to be.
Right.
So until we get someone just as cool as James Brown to write a song, "I'm Blind and I'm Proud," I think we will still have a lot of people who find it more comfortable to use a variety of other terms to describe what they have. I used to be that person.
Right.
When I was in my early 20s, if you really wanted a fight, call me blind. Oh, I'd say, oh my goodness, I'm not blind. Blind means you can't see anything. In actuality, in the entire blind community, they are the smallest percentage of blind people. Less than 1% of this country is blind. But even of that number, the smallest group are those individuals who are in total darkness. So the majority of us have some degree of vision, whether it's light or they have a level of high partial to where they can read, print, or see some objects, but they can't see everything.
Right.
And they can't see everything. So we have to work within our own community. When I say just the blind community, even those individuals that don't consider themselves to be blind, to make sure that there's an awareness. Because people will get mixed messages. You can come across me and I say, hey, man, it's okay. I'm blind. It's just a word. It's just a description. It describes me no more, no less than my being a male, my being tall, my being black, my being Baptist, any of those. And then the next day you can come across another individual that totally dislikes the term blind. They want to be visually impaired. Then you can meet someone who's sight challenged. So we'll have that problem until we start working within our own community to dispel this.
I think it's going to be one of the same issues of being black or colored or African American.
Exactly.
Like you said, it's going to take a minute because we don't know how to address that particular person at that particular time. What I think happens is that some people come to the maturity level at a certain point where they're comfortable with whatever you say.
Exactly.
And I think because it's an uncomfortable position to be put in when you do have, again, I'm going to use the term that I know until I can learn the right term, visually impaired. You get to the point where it's not really.
He should call it blind. He said not vision impaired. You didn't take too long to figure that out.
Mr. Jackson has grasped the term already.
Okay.
I give him 5 minutes.
All right. He'll be okay. Sometimes he doesn't take his medication in the morning.
I totally understand.
But my thing is that I didn't even know with Anil, it was really strange for him because I went to pick him up from the motor station, and as soon as I got out of the car, I made the mistake grabbed his arm, and clearly he's like, no, don't do that. I know, and he could get in the car, he could do everything. But and I don't want to use this term because he got on me about that.
Handicap.
Amazing.
Oh, yes.
Wasn't nothing amazing about it.
It's funny you said that. We have two mentoring programs, a GEMS program and our Beta project, where that's one of the things that we're doing to help combat this. We're getting to the students early and talk about that sort of thing. A lot of times these students grow up in the small rural towns in Georgia where they're the only blind person,
Right.
and they hear people say, "Oh, it's just so amazing how you tie your shoe,
Mm-hmm.
how you brush your teeth."
Mm-hmm.
Those are all common society things that everybody does, right? We should hold them to just as high a standard as we hold any other student, regardless of whether they have vision or not. They all should be expected to achieve greatness and not reach the climax of their success by being able to tie their shoe. What are we expecting them to do after that? Just sit and chill? So you're absolutely right. We have to get society away from that. I got on the elevator this morning. Now, the building where my office is
Right.
has been there since '06.
Right.
So if I don't have an idea where the elevators are in the past 5 or 6 years, I'll never know.
Right.
But a gentleman has been in the building longer than I have. He says, "It's so amazing. You walk right to
Right.
where the door is." You can hear all that noise the door make. This building is old. Who couldn't find the elevator? You know what I mean? So that's a society misconception that we will be combating, and I know that sort of thing will always continue, but the more of us that there are who are familiar with and hold themselves to a higher standard, the more society will do so as well.
I think, and this is totally from my point of view, I think there should be a list or some kind of something to say to educate us. I mean, where can we go to one place and find out that these things are offensive?
Well, if he just said, if it's normal for you to do the normal thing, they don't want no exception. So if it's normal, for them,
normal is in the concept of the mind. My thing is this. Let me explain a normal thing that's an abnormal thing to me.
Before you say, I want to point out, there's nothing you can name that only blind people can't do. There is nothing you can name that only the blind can't do.
No, I know, I agree with that.
So now we're on here.
But my thing is this. When they had the national convention here in Atlanta, I mean, the blind flew in, went to the hotel, signed up, went to the elevator, went to their rooms, did everything. It's people that can see that can't do that.
Exactly.
I mean, totally, they can't see. And then you guys, when they were in town, they went to Six Flags. I think they went to Six Flags this weekend. I mean, those kind of things. Come on, be serious now. I mean, those are some things that, and I'm very comfortable with you guys. You know that. But
he said that if the average person can do it.
What's the average person?
Well, that's what when he used the term
the average person is folks like me.
You're not average. See, that's what I have a term.
If I can do it, then in time they can do it.
So
they can read, but they got a special way of reading.
So let's break it down like it needs to be broken. Let's use the one term. Let's say a sighted person. Since we're dealing with the blind, we won't say average, we won't say normal, we'll say sighted. So whatever you would expect a sighted person, whatever you would expect them to be able to do, you should also expect a blind person to be able to do.
So what point are we making with that? Because I think I'm getting to the point where I don't know where that was ever challenged.
Okay, so it's challenged every day, because as you mentioned, those gentlemen that went to Six Flags while they were here, they were refused entrance. They were refused entrance into the Six Flags because they didn't have a sighted person with them. They were refused entrance because they were not going to allow them to walk through the gates with their canes, because they were blind. So they were being held to a level lower than a sighted person. A sighted person, they would expect them to come in, obey the rules of the park, and have fun. But because they were blind, they felt there's no possible way they could adhere to the rules.
You don't think that would have been I didn't know that, okay? But you don't think that would have been somewhat of a challenge as a safety issue with them going in?
No, it is not. You got to expect, how long do you think I've been using a cane? If you had to guess.
Since you were 18.
Since I was 18. So if I have, He's reading the bio. So if I
I'm just a small.
Had to.
that caught me on guard for a second.
Had to. You know.
Oh, that caught me for a second. What
Yeah, see? He a quick study now. Ain't no doubt about it. He's a quick study.
So I would assume the same. You've been driving a vehicle for a number of years, so I would assume you know how to do it. I would not say, well, Don, let me tell you, you hold the steering wheel like this. You press this pedal for the gas. This one, I wouldn't need to do that sort of thing. So what you're using it under the auspices, oh, it's a safety reason. No, you've automatically assumed that there's a danger just because I'm using it.
And there is.
There is not.
There
because
is.
I've been trained.
And there is.
What is it?
I'm going to make my point.
Okay.
Okay, and it's an excellent point on my behalf. Our friend playing softball. Ball went out. He chased the ball based on he's blind. You know who I'm referring to. And ran into a car.
See, but
now what was that? Had there was vision there, they would have seen it. You can't hear it. There was nothing there to say, hey, look, I'm a car sitting here.
That's a poor analogy.
Okay.
Because they're sighted. How many times have you seen sighted people who play ball, who run into the wall, who run into the fence?
All the time.
That sort of thing is going to happen. That's a part of playing games. That's a part of society. That's a part of life. Sighted people trip over stuff.
So the percentage of possibility of the blind person versus the visual person is the same.
It's the same. See, now, but the one thing you're not throwing in there, see, okay. I was giving an example with my cane in my hand.
Right.
When you play that game, you don't use your cane. He
Right.
was relying on sighted people there to give him information to tell him where to go. Now, they gave the signal, stop, but it was a little too late when they gave it, so that caused him to continue running and hit that vehicle.
Okay.
So, but if I'm using a cane, you should expect, I've used it a number of years, that I'm totally equipped and competent to use it correctly and safely, not only for myself, but for people around me.
You know what I like about you? You don't stop. Thank you.
That's what we try to tell you, Don.
Well, I don't even pay you any attention, Louis P. Jackson.
So from this point on, you can never go wrong if you just go with the adage, just because they're blind means nothing. I'm going to expect them to do the same thing. Hey, man, I'm carrying these boxes inside. Why don't you grab one? Help me get them in. We'll get them in faster. You should. It doesn't affect the strength of my arms, my ability to walk. For far as you know, I could have worked as a moving man, and I actually did. When I first moved to Atlanta, I got a job at a moving company. It was hectic. It was only 3 weeks. They were throwing those boxes off the trucks, and they were hitting me in my chest, and I'm not the most hefty built guy. I'm pretty much aerodynamically built.
Aerodynamically built. I like that.
So I was catching those boxes. That wasn't a job for me, but they gave me a chance. Hey, the man filled out the application. He said he could do the job. He could pick them up. He could carry them. They throw them to him out the box like everybody else. So I did that job for a while, but after that box kept hitting me in my nose, I said, I don't think this is for me.
Okay.
But,
all right.
You should expect that. You should expect equal everything from everybody.
Okay.
And you were saying, how can you know? And you wanted a list. I guarantee you, there's one thing you can always do that will always put you in safety. If you ask, do you need any assistance? If they say no, carry on. If they say yes, your next question should be, how may I assist you? And then they will tell you exactly what to do. Because, I know how people feel. I've been in public places, people not have an idea of where I'm trying to go. Just grab me. Then I'll stop and say, you don't even know where I'm trying to go. Oh, yeah, where you trying to go? But, personal space is still personal space. I don't lose that just because I have a disability. Right. I'm sure you started to want to, if I just start rubbing all on your shoulder or grabbing on you, whoa, bro, what's up? It doesn't go down like that.
Yeah, you're going to have to change a whole lot of your anatomies and stuff for you.
Exactly. And, and our society has turned into being not one of the safest. Right. So I don't know everybody's intent when they come up to me.
That's true.
That's 100. See, Don, I could have told you that.
Look, we're talking to the public. No, you're not talking to Don. We're trying to make sure we educate the people that's out there that don't know.
In other words, whatever a sighted person can do, they are expected to do it unless they ask for assistance.
Exactly. Now, we may not do everything the same way. We have alternative ways, but it's still going to get done.
Right.
It'll be done correctly. It'll still be done correctly.
I got a question about personal observation.
Go ahead.
Some blind folks wear shades and others don't.
Mm-hmm.
What makes them wear them and others don't? Just like you don't wear
You
shades.
just explained it.
No. Well, that is a personal choice.
Personal
but
choice.
there is a reason that they did wear them in the past. Now, and I'm gonna tell you a story about me and sunglasses after I tell you this. There are some idiosyncrasies that blind people do that we have to work to stop. For instance, the way Ray Charles, and I'm going to get to your question. I promise. This is all going to. Just the way that Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder will rock when they talk or when they perform. The reason blind people do that is because sighted people can sit in a room and they can see. They just move their eyes and they can see things moving around and they're okay. They'll sit still. But a blind person unable to see that, they can hear things and they want to know they need to be a part of that motion, so they create it themselves by rocking this way or that way. That's their way of feeling a part of what's going on, creating that motion. Now, another thing that blind people do that may cause them to wear the sunglasses is they, when you bump your head, how people use the term you see in stars or little sparks of light. Some blind people can create that by taking their fingers or their knuckles and digging into their eyes, and they can see that light. And if they have no vision, that's the one thing they can see, so they create that. The negative aspect to that is it looks uncomfortable when you see people just literally digging into their eyes to sighted people. So you won't want to really be around them and have that level of uncomfort. The other thing it does is it causes dark bruises to develop around their eyes, and they have what looks like raccoon eyes. So they wear the sunglasses to cover that up. Now, there are those individuals whose eyes are so deteriorated or so embedded into their face, so that doesn't look comfortable. So they wear the sunglasses to cover that up.
Now,
well.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Some folks' eyes are embedded.
Exactly.
And those usually the ones that have on the sunglasses.
Or they turn the disc color.
Right.
The eyes still look are in the normal distance in the socket, but they have turned the disc color, so it's just easier for them to wear sunglasses and cover it up. Now, I love to wear sunglasses, but in fact, my brother bought me a pair of sunglasses a couple of weeks ago, and I love them. They're a pair of Dolce & Gabbana sunglasses, and I look.
What is that?
Don't. That's beyond you, right?
Hey, yeah,
that's
he
fashion.
too old. He on here. He's still Polaroid 3. Polaroid 3.
Like English leather that you used to wear. This is a new company. It's fashion and
English
design.
leather. Old Spice.
Old Spice, exactly.
Yeah, but you start sound like that, boy, it sounds sort of complicated. That sounds like he got one of them expensive tastes.
Exactly. But I don't like to wear the sunglasses sometimes because people have such a expectation that that's what blind people do. They wear sunglasses. But I strictly wear them for the fashion statement because I look good in them. And I really have to fight with that to put my sunglasses on or to take them off. And like today, I didn't wear them specifically. I said, man, people won't think, oh, that's what blind people do. Go ahead, Ray Charles. And then they're calling me those sort of things. And
then you go back.
Exactly. Exactly.
I know you.
Speaking of Ray Charles, that let me preface what I'm gonna say by saying that was a excellent movie. Jamie Foxx gave an excellent portrayal of Ray Charles.
He definitely did.
But that people cannot hold those things to be true for all blind people. That was in a time in this country where blind people hadn't reached the level of equality or independence that they have now. We do not walk with hard heel shoes and want hardwood floors so we can use the echolocation to tell where we are. We use our cane. We listen and get that same information. We don't grab women's wrists to determine what they look like, their level of attraction, because that doesn't hold true for many reasons.
You use their smell, though.
How do you mention that? How do you?
Well, I would ask. If it's important to me.
Okay, let me put it like this: if you are totally blind, you're in that 1%. We're not talking about the one like you said. Most folks are not in that 1%.
Yes, sir.
Where they can, blur something. But if you're in that 1%, where your world is dark, how do you tell the level of beauty of a woman?
Okay. Now I'm gonna be totally candid with you all. If the woman sounds like she may be interesting to me, and I'm gonna tell you what works for me. Okay. And again, we can't take this to hold true for all blind
And you
people.
gotta be careful. It might work on him.
You remember what he said earlier?
He'll give you some candy and a flower.
Yeah, you already heard that.
But I would ask. I would ask the woman, would it be okay if I touched her to see what she looked like? I would definitely do that. I'm comfortable with myself in asking that, and I don't do it to everybody. I'm not, girl, let me touch you, see what you look like. No, I don't do it. And you know, let's say we're walking down the street. There may be 3 or 4 beautiful women, and for whatever reason, one may draw your attention unlike the others, and you pay attention a little longer. Yeah. Not every woman draws my attention to the point where I'm going, I want to know what she looks like. But then there are those I say, man, I wonder what she looks like.
Well, how you?
And that's the way we are, excited folks.
Other than the perfume that she's wearing.
And it's not even that, because a lot of women don't wear perfume today. But it's a matter of instinct, just personal taste. Because even beauty is so varied for so many people. Because let's just take a couple of examples. Shaquille O'Neal. I know a lot of women that say he is not attractive, but then there are other women that say, oh man, he is gorgeous. I don't know if you all remember Grace Jones. There's some men that say, man, that's a beautiful woman. Short hair, and then there are other men. No, she's not doing. So regardless of whether you can see or not, attractiveness is a matter of personal preference, and it doesn't change without sight. Just because I don't have sight, because there may be other things that I'm attracted to about her. I just don't know what she looks like physically.
Right. Look, I had heard some blind.
What you mean you heard?
I have heard some blind people mention the fact that they had some issues with the governor of New York at that. You have some opinion about that? You looking at me like you already know where I want you to go with this.
Okay, I'm gonna preface what I'm gonna preface what I'm about to say by saying, the former governor is now working with our organization.
Okay.
He's now using a cane, but prior. I'm assuming he's using a cane, but he was one of those individuals that was high partial, so he didn't think he needed to use a cane, but he didn't set a good example for all of us. And when we work with students, we tell them, you may be the only blind person that people come in contact with. So the perception they have of you will be the one they have for all of us. Just like with Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles, they were the only blind people that people knew. So they thought it was normal to rock. They thought it was normal to wear the glasses like they do. But it's not. It's not normal, because we are just as individuals. We all don't even use the same type cane.
Well, I mean, that was only 2 people, too.
Exactly.
I mean, high-profile people.
Exactly. So with the governor, he did a lot of things that did not represent what we consider to be a positive representation of the blind community. But
he's on board now with the organization,
and
the national?
Yeah, the one good thing about our organization, we accept people where they are, and we allow you to grow in your time with the organization. So we've accepted him in. He carries a cane now, and he'll start working on Braille and that sort of thing. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm just bad-mouthing the governor.
No, we know you're not bad-mouthing. We just wanted to hear, where it was, and glad to know where it is now. Number one is I'm the host of this show, and you just the owner of the station.
Look at speaking of that, how hard is it to learn Braille?
We always do this.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you.
I'm sorry, I missed the question.
How difficult is it to learn Braille?
Okay.
It's not difficult at all. And people think, oh man, I feel all those bumps, I'll never know what it says. It's just like with anything else. When you're learning to read, you learn the symbols, quote unquote, the alphabet. Then you learn how to arrange them in different orders, vis-a-vis the spelling. Then you learn to put them in sentences. But you don't learn to read right then. It is a process. The one thing that those students always have is homework assignments, reading something. It's the repetition that causes the ability to read. And the same with Braille. It's the repetition that causes the individual to become astute at reading Braille. So you can learn the contractions and memorize the shorthand forms of Braille there is, but if you don't practice it every day, if I didn't practice Braille, I would be able to read it just as well as either one of you right now. So.
Well, the thing is Louis P. Jackson, how you learn your alphabet? A, B, C, D,
repetition.
and okay, then that's the same concept.
It's the same process.
But you learn the alphabets when you are young, so you sort of grow on it.
Oh man, that's
here you go.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Because one of the major problems we're having with the education system, not only in the state of Georgia, but in this entire country, is that blind children should be doing that also. Mm-hmm. They want to put their intellect so low that they don't think they can learn the print alphabet and the Braille alphabet at the same time, which is totally wrong. So let's say a student has poor vision and they want to. Can I see that piece of paper for a second that you're holding? Oh, that you put down. Okay, so let's say the person has partial vision. The teachers that are totally fine with them holding the paper close to their face like that and reading, Jane ran to get, and they're okay with that. And that's not competent reading. That's not. So they say, well, they don't need the Braille because they can still read the print. They're holding on to their ability to read that little print. Now, earlier as we discussed, the senior group being the largest group of blind, because as they got older, their vision got worse, right? So let's say if you start with poor vision as a young person, when you get older, it naturally is going to decrease, right?
Right.
So now we have these students in high school who they can't read the print anymore, they can't read Braille, and they're struggling to try to pass. 44% of all blind students don't graduate from high school. 44%.
Well, I mean, personally, I don't think that's that bad because 30% of the black, let me change that. 30% of the sighted don't graduate.
That's still too high for us, especially when if jobs are difficult for a sighted person to find. 72% of all blind people are unemployed, and that's a lot of intellect that we're losing because those students don't get a high school education simply because someone sighted thought it was okay for them not to learn Braille when they were younger. When they do learn them both, they can make a much smoother transition to reading and continue on with their education, and they're much more excited about going to college or receiving some sort of technical training, which would decrease the number of those individuals who did not graduate, and it would increase the number of those that are employed.
There are some jobs that the blind is better at because they got this keen ear. And if you got a real keen ear, some things that you can do, like the host claimed that his smell is so keen that he can get up in the morning and tell what his wife has already cooked. Now, you see most piano repairmen like they're better when they got the hearing because they can better tune a piano.
That's not true.
Okay.
No, that's true. What happens is we grow accustomed to paying attention to other things. I don't hear any more or any less than either one of you. I don't smell or taste any better. All that is true, but what happens is you can get that perception because I'm sure like right now in the studio you all can hear that clock ticking. Mm-hmm. So but you say, oh man, I never would have heard that, but you don't pay attention as much to the sound that the clock is making because visually you can look up and see the clock. So I pay attention to more of the things that I hear and discern what they are because that's what I have to do in lieu of not being able to see. So I don't do it better. I'm not more keen. It's just what I have to do naturally. Now with the piano players, more of them were blind originally because there weren't many other job opportunities, and because people had the misconception that a blind person can hear better. Oh, they can hear better, so they can tune a piano. That's okay. We'll let them have that job. So which lend even more credence to the stereotype. Because they can hear better, they're able to tune a piano. But there are plenty of sighted individuals who tune a piano just as well, if not better. Go ahead.
Maybe that was not said in the way that it was meant, because maybe you don't hear better, but you just said you focus more on because you're not seeing it, you're focusing more on your hearing.
Well, I
Is
pay
that
attention to it. I won't say I even focus because a lot of things go by my ears. I don't even notice.
well, there's a lot of things go by our ears
Exactly. I
that
don't even
don't notice.
I just don't hear.
Let's talk about some of the technology nowadays that's working for the blind.
Well,
And one of the things that always amazed me is that
What did you say about that amazing word?
one of the things that amazed me about
What about the amazing word he said?
I said amazed me. I ain't say what amazed me at who.
we got to see what amazed me first.
What
Maybe
amazed?
it's Spider-Man.
Thank you.
Go
If
ahead.
I can ever finish talking, I might can get my question out. Because I'm over 50 and I forget. Let me see. Technology. We were talking about the different. One of the things that amazed me, thank you, is that technology where the reader is in the email system now, where you hit that thing and it just. Tell me about that. What is that called, and how does that work?
It's called a screen reading software, and the particular one, the more popular one, is called JAWS, Job Access Work Service. And so with that, it allows an individual is installed just like any other software onto a computer, and the individual is able to read whatever is on their computer screen with it.
But I've heard some. I don't know if you fast forwarding or what. Is that what you're doing when I'm hearing it?
No. We increase the. It sounds extremely fast to you to hear, but
right.
know that the blind are doing their best to be as competitive in the workforce as anyone else. So they increase the speed to equal the speed with which you read the same words with your eyes. So that, let's say, we're all co-workers at any particular job, and our boss sends a memo. We're going to have a staff meeting in 2 minutes in my office, everybody. So you read it, boom, like that. Mr. Jackson reads it, boom, just like that. If I have that speech slow, and it goes, we will have.
So is
a
that
meeting.
pretty much the speed that it works without accelerating it?
No. You increase it to that speed. You can slow it down, and not everybody reads it at that speed. So you can speed it up or slow it down the rate yourself. But that's one of the reasons why we do that. So we get receive the information at the same speed as everyone else.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
But this is, of course, any time that you're learning something, it's very informative. And I bet we could talk here for another hour, and we would have more stuff of informative. But before your time run out, we do want you to talk about why you was here, your thing this weekend, and what y'all trying to accomplish, and what we can do, and all of that.
Well, this month is Meet the Blind Month. So I would encourage you all, if you want to call our organization, see when we're having chapter meetings or when we'll be out in the public, to join and engage in us. And we do everything society does. If you want to go have a drink, a happy hour, we can do that. If you want to play board games, we can do that. You want to start a poker game, we can do that. If you want to just sit and talk about a variety of television shows, we do that also. So I would encourage everyone to go out and meet the blind community and dispel as many of society's stereotypes as possible. Also, if you'd like to come down to Macon, Georgia, and be a part of our state convention, we would love to have you. Our convention will be streamed, so if you go to our website, nfbga.org, then you can click on the link that says to listen live. You can listen to our convention the entire weekend as well. The convention is this weekend, October 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Macon City Marriott at 240 Coliseum Drive in Macon, Georgia. We would love to have you. If you have other questions, I've said something to spark your interest, you can call our office, which is located in downtown Decatur, Georgia at 315 West Ponce de Leon Avenue. We're in Suite 1020. We're on the top floor.
But y'all got money, y'all down there.
And our number is 404-371-1000. Again, that's 404-371-1000.
Now, Ania had a show here every month.
Yes, sir.
And it wouldn't be fair. Y'all got the same position. And he had a show and you don't. So now something has to be done about that. And, of course, we're going to take care of that today. But I want to ask another simple question.
Don said all your questions were simple.
Yeah. Well, she can't put a thing with Don said. See, I've been putting up here. See, you know what? Actually, I shouldn't even like it.
That's why I know when to be quiet. See,
Actually,
he doesn't learn. I thought he was a quick study. He not.
Actually, I shouldn't even like it.
Look, the funny thing. Let me say this about him. You talking about can dance? This boy can dance.
That's what I was about to ask.
This boy turned out the floor. Everybody waiting to dance with him.
I was about to ask that. When y'all go out to parties, is there any disparity between the males and female? Is it more of one sex? And when you have a party, because we talked about that to Neil, how y'all really party most of the night.
Oh yeah. Ain't no party like a blind folks party, because a blind folks party don't stop.
Yeah, I know.
But
there ain't no lie to that statement.
To legitimately answer your question, though, we are a microcosm of society. So, unfortunately, women tend to become more civic-minded or active in civic organization, consumer organizations. So we do have a larger number of females in our organization than males. So, and they're always looking for dance partners. So anytime you want to show up, they'll get you on the dance floor and you'll stay there all night long, switching from partner to partner, dancing. And the other thing I wanted to say is I'm definitely going to work to make sure that we continue the television show that not the show program here that Anil had prior to his leaving office. So we will work on that. I wanted you all to know also that when the people wanted to assume that a blind person is sweet and innocent and they're all angels because they have a disability, they are not. We are a microcosm of society, so there are those good individuals and there are those individuals that are a little less good. So
y'all, in other words, y'all got some crooks.
There are some individuals that are a little less good.
If you want to see the other side, mess with him.
Yeah,
he'll show you both sides.
So there's some crooks. Now, you went to college there at Webb.
Gardner Webb University. Yes, sir.
So there when we had a basketball player.
I know. I can tell you, Artis Gilmore went there for 2 years before he transferred to Jackson. It was a two-year college then. Yeah. And also John. Yeah,
he was a star.
John. Oh, wow, I can't think. Played with the Hawks. I can't think of his name now.
Well, but so yes. The school got a name got a reputable name, and that's what I was about to say.
Yes, sir.
I thought that was a 2-year school.
No, sir. It is a 4-year university.
But it used to be a 2-year, didn't it?
Yeah, way back when you were a teenager.
Duh.
He old as dirt.
No, it was you and Jesus.
You saw him reach down.
Now that you wanted to become proficient in the craft that you have chosen, that is speaking and writing and all of that.
Yes, sir.
You went to that school because they specialize in that or something?
Well, I'm going to tell you.
Or it was a cheap school to go to?
No, it was not a cheap school. It was not. I'm still paying back tuition now. So it was not a cheap school. But and I'm always embarrassed to tell this, but I will share. I did not read print and I did not read Braille. That school does have a program, and all the schools now have a disability services division at the school. That they all have to. But at that time, that school had a program that was created by some wealthy people who had a blind son who went to school there before he lost his sight. And he lost his sight during his time there. So they created a program to make sure that blind students could go to school there and receive the assistance that they needed in receiving their education. That was the reason why I chose that school, because of my ignorance of knowing that I could have been successful at another school if I had the proper training. Mm-hmm. I really couldn't have been successful like I thought because I didn't read Braille and I didn't read print. So that was the best place for me. Mm-hmm. But now I would recommend to a blind student, don't set your standards to any particular school because they have a program to help you. You are an individual. You can talk You can speak to your professors yourself and let them know what it is you need. As long as you can read Braille, you can take your test and answer your questions just like anyone else. But that was one of the main reasons why I chose that school, and it was the best choice for me. It gave me the best education I could have received.
Okay, we want you to give a shout out to the organization, of course, and then we want you to give a shout out to your daughter who
yes, that was my next thing.
Man,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
can. You talking about can sing?
Well,
You got
I
a
know
daughter
that
can really sing.
she got him to
Oh yeah, to step it up and do what I was supposed to do.
right,
Exactly.
Yeah. He was trying to dodge all this stuff, and she said,
Exactly.
"Look, stop it. You got to do it. You can't run."
Exactly. Well, to everyone in National Federation of Blind of Georgia, I look forward to seeing all of you all this weekend. I love you, and we will be doing more of this sort of thing to market our organization so that we can be all that we need to be for the blind community in the state of Georgia. I love you. To my daughter, it is time to get up and do something with your life. You can't sleep all day. Get out of the bed, honey. Your father loves you. If I could share a very quick story, my daughter and I, when she was 8, we were in a grocery store. And this is people assuming that because I'm blind that they don't need to talk to me. So we were looking at meat and pork chop and stuff to decide what we were going to prepare for dinner. So she's just standing there. She's more concerned with the cereal than the meat. So I'm looking at the meat. She's telling me the prices. And this lady comes over, the lady who works there comes over and says, "What type of meat does your father want?"
I know where you're going.
And my daughter, she's on the edge. She goes, "I don't know. I'm only 8." But the woman, I'm standing right there, a competent man, but she felt she had to ask my daughter what I want rather than pose the question to me.
And apparently she was trying to treat you like you was deaf instead of blind.
Exactly. See, and that's the amazing thing. One minute they think we have this keen hearing, and the next minute they think we can't hear anything. But I said my daughter was an extreme inspiration in my realizing that I had to do more, not only for myself, but for this blind community that I was a part of, and I will be forever in her debt for doing so, because it is a tremendous experience to be a part of the National Federation of the Blind of Georgia.
Yeah, she helped you mature, no doubt.
Dawn, you said she has a wonderful voice.
Yeah, she can really, really sing.
Yes.
So when
Beautiful.
he comes back, he's gonna bring that voice with him.
Well, actually, I can't.
Let me ask you this
Yeah.
before we get too far.
And you know Mr. Craig gonna slip in here in a minute.
Yeah, we got another show coming. When it is that we think, because I want to say it out on the air,
Okay.
that you will be coming back when?
Well, that hasn't been determined.
We're going to determine that while we're sitting up here.
I can appreciate your business savvy
Okay,
and
all right,
wanting
go
to
ahead.
pinpoint a date to me, but I guarantee you, as soon as we are off the air, that Ms. Craig and I will set up a
that's
time
good
to negotiate.
I told him just this morning. I called the station this morning. He answered the phone, and I said, I want to speak to somebody that's got some credibility. I don't know why he answered the phone and trying to talk to you. Miss Craig runs everything, and we thank the Lord.
That's
for
the
Miss
only
Craig.
time I answered in the last month. Should I not get one time a month?
No.
Okay, well,
You have to answer your cell number.
We want to thank you for tuning in. We have had a dynamic guest, and he of course, he's just as spectacular today as it was the last time. And if you didn't get your question answered, call us here at 444-477-0300, and we'll put you in contact with him. Of course, he gave you his contact number, but if you forget that, you can always call us, and we'll make sure you get it. We're located at 3105 Washington Road here in the East Point area. We are changing the thought of East Point, and we're going to make everybody love this good city, and we're going to expand our presence here. And with the presence of folks like Mr. Scott, and of course his brother who got the same name as his other two brothers, but we want to make sure that we expand here in this city.
TMI.
Now you got 5 brothers. You brought one. What the others go do, and then we're gonna let you go. And them 2 sisters that you got.
I have one that is passed. I have one that works at the mall downtown Peachtree, and the other 2 are still in school.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We want to say that we had a great show today. Thank you so very, 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 very much for coming, sir. And look forward. There's one thing I didn't ask, and I don't think you mentioned it, but the annual event, are you still having that?
Oh, the Black Tie White Cane event?
Yes.
We will be having it, and as it gets closer, we'll be giving more details. We're still in the organizing stage for that.
In other words, save your money so you got, because it ain't free. You got to pay.
Exactly. It is a fundraiser.
Yeah.
With that, that's it for
We're out
OGs
for
at
it.
11.
Got the club on jail. However, if a man ain't coming to the light, PDA be gnawing the board. Lost fight, you feel me right? Lace the track like a machine.